Welcome to the Lion's Den, where you'll find men just talking. This is the first of many episodes that we hope to have to talk about men issues. And we will start in the mental health arena, and we'll just discuss things that tend to be overlooked by men. One of the most important things is actually just to go to the doctor and get your yearly checkups. This is a very important thing. It helps in so many ways, and you'll find things that you may have gone unnoticed because of the fact that you haven't been regularly checking up. One thing I do personally is around my birthday is when I would go and do it, but that's just we're just touching on those points. There'll be many different talking points that we'll have to discuss and see where we're going. This will be an open forum. I plan to have guests come in and sit, and we will discuss these issues. And not always issues. I mean, sometimes we're going to have some fun topics to talk about just to get through, so that we as a community can get together and just grow and rise together. Now, although we're just talking about men issues, of course, in most of our lives, there's a woman. And that's the other thing. We need to learn to nourish and cherish them. Find ways to sort of, give them the understand them, give them ways to understand us. Now, I've recently been divorced. I'm going to be candid there because a lot of you will, look at my history and find out I've been divorced and going to say, well, what do you know about relationships? Because you had a relationship that failed. No, not necessarily failed, but it's a relationship that's come and gone. And I like to, provide my insight on what I feel is things that may have gone awry, and hopefully it will help someone else. Have my failure, so to speak, to be someone else's win, for the lack of a better term. Again, just open, candid discussions to get us to the place where we need to be. Now, this has been a journey that I've been on for about 7 years, and this is the first time that I've actually sat down and wanted to open up and discuss these issues, a lot of which are personal issues with the world, anyone that tunes in, because again, this is to help. The premise of what I'm doing is, calling it the Lion's Den, because we are lions backed by faith, leaders, kings. And we need to be treated as such, treat ourselves as such, and go out in the world believing that we are. Faith first, and then you are the lion. I'm Renard. I will be your host. And again, there will be several topics that we'll be discussing. My middle name is Renard, and it's spelled Reynard. Rey in Spanish is king. So this is a king delivering the message to the other kings. So let's grow together and be thankful for where we are, be thankful for what we have, what we're about to go through, and basically we need to relish or stand firm in where we are, because in doing so, our future will be brighter, because you live today and you do the best you could do today. And even if for some reason we've fallen short, tomorrow when we wake up, we have another day to get it right. But also we got to stay present in the lives of our children. Again, children is where our tomorrow is. So we need to make sure that we reach them, because the news will tell you that our children are far gone. I don't believe that. I mean, that's what they project. I mean, and again, there may be a percentage, but that doesn't mean that can't be corrected. So we need to work together and do that. Now, I said that this was 7 years coming. 7 years ago, in one of my yearly checkups, it was uncovered that I had prostate cancer. And of course, That wasn't that wasn't welcomed news, but it was news nonetheless. And I had to do something about it. But just imagine if I wasn't going to get those yearly checkups. I wouldn't have known that I had this prostate cancer, and I would have been walking around with a powder keg in my body, waiting to explode. But by being proactive, I was able to be reactive and get things corrected. Now, many of you may feel that that really is a death sentence, a death of your manhood, but that's not necessarily true. In some cases, it will be, but not in every case. And then it's also what you do. So that'll be another part of what we discuss: nutrition, physical fitness, things that you need to do and eat to make sure that your manhood stays intact. I did have a friend of mine, one of his relatives was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he didn't want to do anything about it because he said he didn't want to lay next to his wife and not be able to do anything. Well, statistically, erectile dysfunction is running prevalent throughout the male environment, the male community. The study has 40% of 40-year-olds has some form of erectile dysfunction, 50% of 50-year-old, and 60% of 60-year-olds have experienced erectile dysfunction. Now, those are the studies. I had a personal relative that hasn't been diagnosed with prostate cancer, but he did have some escalating numbers. And he was told by his urologist that by the time he's 80, or most men are 80, that they will have experienced prostate cancer. Well, should we accept that? Is that something that we should accept? That's another thing that we'll be exploring. The 40% of 40-year-olds, 50% of 50-year-olds, and 60% of 60-year-olds, is that acceptable? No. So let's get together and find ways to combat this disease. Now, you have females, of course, breast cancer and ovarian cancer are prevalent for them. However, they have movements. They have a breast cancer awareness month. Nothing against them, but they were proactive and they moved and got what they needed done. And I'm just saying, men, let's get together and do the same thing. We could partner with them because we, as I said earlier, we all have women in our lives. So, we may not be as sympathetic as we should be to these women experiencing breast cancer, ovarian cancer, whatever, because we don't know. We haven't asked them. So let's sit down and talk to them as well and find out, what we can do to help them to make their experience less taxing. And conversely, the same for us. And we can work together and our families will be stronger. We will live longer. And, the success of this thing will be great. So we get together and we form our organizations, our groups, and become aware of what these things are and how to combat them, how to treat them, what it is before, what it is after, and during. What can we do to correct this train that's going south? Everything is actually, these numbers are out there, but why can't we reverse these numbers? Why do these numbers have to be as high as they are? But I could sit here and talk about it until I'm blue in the face, but there's nothing I can do alone. I believe there's a community is needed to make any movement happen. And I think together we can move mountains. We can make these things happen. And, all men, who could we erase prostate cancer? I don't know. But we could definitely make an effort to bring these numbers down. And then it'll be open for suggestions. You send in topics, we pick from the topics, and we'll discuss those topics. and we'll get the answers. Again, we're going to invite people in. We're going to have groups come in, and we'll talk about nutrition. Hopefully, we'll have a urologist come in, and the urologist will come in and tell you, about prostate cancer, tell you about preventative measures, tell you about what to look for, what the symptoms are. Then holistic people will have holistic people that could come in and tell you about different vitamins, different things that you can do to assist. And then physical people that will talk about fitness, mental health, because there is a mental aspect to this. And, your mind will play a trick on you. And a lot of times, erectile dysfunction is more a byproduct of the mind than it is of your physical ability to obtain an erection. Because you had an experience that was less than what you expected, now each time that you go to perform this act, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you keep saying in your head, is this gonna happen this time? Am I gonna be successful this time? And now all this anxiety has now made its way in, and your performance becomes an issue. So there's a wide array of things that we could discuss that could help us and help us grow. And also, there's also a study that says that men with erectile dysfunction may have issues with their heart. That's another issue that comes from this, because, of course, the reason that you don't have an erection has to do with blood flow. So because of blood flow, again, your heart is not functioning properly. So all of these things will be fleshed out, and we can, come together again and grow. And let's put this all behind us. Let's become champions for ourselves. In the words of one of the greatest actors I know, Morgan Freeman, remember, you're the best. You can do it. God is always with you. You're a winner. Today is your day. Thank you for sitting with me today in the Lion's Den. I'm Renard. Peace.